Deep within the whispering woods, where sunlight dripped like golden honey through the leaves of ancient trees, there lived a creature so small that most of the forest residents barely noticed him. His name was Willow, a soft-furred gray bunny rabbit with bright, curious eyes. But Willow was unlike any other rabbit. He was secretly known as the mastermind of the forest. Not because he was the strongest, not because he was the fastest, and certainly not because he had any magic. He possessed something far more powerful, a mind that saw possibilities where everyone else saw only problems. Willow's journey began in his youth. He was often teased by the other young rabbits for being quiet and thoughtful. Rabbits were supposed to run, jump, and hide, but Willow preferred to observe. While the others slept, he would watch the wind move through the branches, noticing how it made them dance. He tracked the foxes, learning the patterns of their roots. He studied how shadows changed their shapes as the sun journeyed across the sky. His mother would often say, "Willow, your mind is always wandering." But Willow knew it wasn't wandering at all, it was discovering. One evening, while all the rabbits were busy gathering leaves for their burrows, Willow noticed something strange. The trees were all bending in the same direction, and the birds were flying unusually low, their calls sharp and urgent. He remembered observing these exact signs just before a big storm in the past. His heart began to race. A massive storm was coming. He tried to warn the other rabbits, but they just laughed at him. "You worry far too much, Willow," one of them said with a twitch of his nose. "The sky is perfectly clear," another one chirped. But Willow trusted his observation over their doubt. He spent the entire night digging his tunnels deeper, strengthening the walls of his burrow and gathering extra food, just in case. The very next day, the sky darkened in an instant. The winds began to howl like a pack of wolves. Branches cracked and fell from the trees. The storm hit with a monstrous roaring force. Burrows collapsed, nests were torn from their branches, and the entire forest trembled in fear. But Willow's burrow? It was safe. It was dry. It was protected. And when the storm finally passed, dozens of shaken animals approached Willow's burrow with a new sense of awe. For the first time, they understood. Willow wasn't just strange. He was extraordinary. Word spread through the whispering woods like wildfire. Find Willow if you need a solution. Soon, animals of all shapes and sizes sought his counsel. A squirrel, worried about his winter food storage, came to him. Willow taught him to use the patterns of shade and sunlight to keep his nuts from spoiling. A deer, wondering where to sleep without attracting predators, was shown how the wind direction could be used to hide his scent. A hedgehog, feeling lonely and shy, learned from Willow how even the quietest creatures hold powerful and important roles within the forest community. Everyone began calling him the Mastermind Bunny, a title he wore with a quiet, humble grace. But with great respect came great responsibility. Then came the problem that no one could solve. One morning, a trembling mole arrived with urgent news, his voice barely a whisper. "The great river, it's shrinking." The river was the very heart of the forest. All the animals drank from its cool waters. The plants that grew along its banks survived because of it. Without the river, the whispering woods would fall silent and eventually die. A council was called immediately. Every animal gathered, the clever foxes, the wise owls, the graceful deer, the strong wolves, the busy squirrels, and even the mighty bears. Tension filled the air like a thick fog. Some blamed the strange weather. Others blamed animals from outside the forest. Many simply said that nothing could be done, that this was the end. Then, quietly, Willow stepped forward. "May I look at the river myself?" he asked in his soft voice. The larger animals exchanged skeptical glances. What could a tiny rabbit possibly do? But they remembered the storm. They trusted him. So Willow traveled upstream, hopping along the edge of the thin, weakening river. He examined the rocks, the soil, the footprints left in the mud. He measured the water's speed and studied the shape of the riverbed, and then he found it. A massive boulder, hidden from view, had collapsed into the river's narrowest curve. It was blocking the flow of water and creating a secret reservoir behind it that no one could see. The animals couldn't have known this from their homes, but Willow, small enough to explore the hidden crevices and smart enough to analyze the pattern, had uncovered the truth. The river wasn't dying. It was trapped. Willow rushed back and explained the situation. The animals gasped in surprise. But the boulder was huge, larger than 10 bears standing together. Many believed that nothing could possibly move it. Willow just smiled softly. "That's because you're trying to move it with force," he said. "Let's move it with our minds." This was his master plan. Willow gathered every single animal and assigned them tasks based on their unique strengths. The beavers would cut down specific trees, not for destruction, but to create long wooden levers. The bears would use their immense strength to push on those levers, multiplying their power. The deer and wolves would pull on thick vines tied securely around the boulder. The birds would fly back and forth, lifting waterlogged soil from behind the rock to loosen its position. And the rabbits, his own kind, would dig intricate tunnels below the boulder to reduce the friction holding it in place. Everyone worked as a single synchronized force, following Willow's precise instructions. Hours passed. Sweat and effort filled the air. But the boulder didn't budge an inch. Some of the animals grew worried. "What if it's impossible?" whispered a fox, his confidence wavering. Willow hopped right up beside the giant boulder, touched it gently with his paw, and closed his eyes for a moment. "Nothing is impossible," he said, his voice calm and clear. "Everything is just a problem that has not been solved yet." He adjusted the angle of the vines. He redesigned the way the bears were pushing. He instructed the rabbits to dig their tunnels deeper and at a different angle. Then he took a deep breath and shouted, "Everyone together now!" The forest shook, the boulder trembled. Then, with a deep grinding roar, the boulder rolled free. A powerful rush of water exploded through the gap, washing down the riverbed with sparkling, life-giving force. The river was restored, more alive and vibrant than ever before. Animals cheered. Birds soared high into the sky. The deer danced with joy. Even the wolves howled in a chorus of celebration. Willow the rabbit has saved the forest. From that day on, the forest named Willow their chief strategist, the guardian of knowledge, and the keeper of peace. But Willow never let the praise cloud his humility. When young animals would come to him and ask, "How did you do all of this?" Willow always answered with the same gentle wisdom, "I am small, but my mind is big." And every creature, big or small, has something powerful inside them. You just need to learn how to use it. Strength is valuable. Speed is useful. But nothing compares to the power of a sharp mind, a clear vision, and the courage to think differently. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed Willow's story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the woods.